Welcome to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to us on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer. And we are not in studio today. We are on what is called a remote, which we love to do and we should do more. We are down at the Pinery at the Hill, down on Bijou, downtown, just west of the highway, because tonight we're having another peak event. We're having a Passover Seder here tonight, which I've had the pleasure of doing at the Road Church for the past 3 years, and this year worked out to do it here at the beautiful Pinery. Now, I'm not promoting the event because we closed it last week. We don't have any more room, so don't come on down if you don't already have tickets for it. But I had to be down here. We're doing the setup and everything here, and so we're doing a remote. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're doing here tonight, just because we want you to hear about peak events. The Peak News, of course, that's the core, our news talk program, but we have a lot of other projects around the Peak because we don't just want to be a podcast radio program. We want to be something that serves the community completely, and that's why we founded a nonprofit, the Peak News Educational Foundation, in order to raise up both youth and adults to be ethical journalists and turn them into citizen journalists to help tell the news. And in fact, Yolanda Edwards, one of our citizen investigative journalists, is up at a rally in Denver, and she's going to be on in the next segment to talk to us about that, because there's an exciting rally going on up there. Unfortunately, for something that, we're going to be getting into that. I don't think we need to be dealing with. But the peak events is something that we're looking to do monthly. So to get out and meet each other and work together, and we get out of our different bubbles. Maybe you're in a business bubble or a faith bubble, or whatever, education or, anything. We tend to get in these bubbles where we hang out with people who are a lot like us and in situations, in businesses and in organizations like us. But when we can get out into the community political, that's bubble. That was the one I was looking for. But when we can get out together from all of the different realms in our city, mix with each other, have a good time, discuss things, it's a great time to make our city better together. And unity is what we need. We talk about it a lot. How do we get there? Well, that's evasive, but actually that's going to be the theme of what I'm going to be talking about when I get to sermonize during the Passover Seder here at the Pinery this evening. So what are we doing here today? As far as the program, well, we're going to be focusing in on this House Bill 25-1312, which is known as Concerning Legal Protections for Transgender Individuals. We've done a couple of programs on it, but because this rally is going on up in Denver today, there's a lot of people that are up there because this bill, and I'm going to be dealing with this later on in the program, in fact, during the main segment, because it is Media and Education Day, and talking about, what's it like to be a journalist when you're dealing with a topic that it's very, very difficult to be neutral on. And, I try to, because I know there are people that are passionate on both sides of this, the transgender issue, parental rights issue, and all of that. But I would hope that there's a level of rationality, there's a level of balance, that when we start to see our government becoming, I'll use the word tyrannical, where it's shutting down debate, where it's not letting even elected representatives speak from the floor, when it meets on a Sunday, in order to push something through quickly, and when people like, with the Second Amendment bill, the gun bill that was passed and Governor Polis signed, that 1,000 people went up to testify against it and 4 for it, and it still gets passed. We have to start worrying about where is our government, and is we the people still the government? And that is where I think the media needs to speak up, regardless of the issue. But the issue is so important now, because what is coming down to us is very difficult. It involves all of us. It involves education. It involves parenting. It involves real people's lives on a daily basis. And it just doesn't seem that this is being given consideration. And in fact, the entire country is talking about it. We've been on, across the nation, looking at Colorado, going, what are you guys doing? So when we come back, we're going to have Yolanda Edwards, one of our citizen journalists, investigative journalists, who is up there, and I believe she's telling me she has House Rep. Jarvis Caldwell, who has been leading the fight against this bill with the House Republicans. And so we're going to be getting a live report from her and an interview with Jarvis And later on in the program, again, going to be talking about media and what is it like personally when you have to cover something that you have strong feelings about, but you're trying to do it journalistically and ethically. Hi, I'm Goldman the Watchman. You're listening to The Peak. We're on remote from the Pinery at the Hill downtown in Colorado Springs, where we're having a Peak event Passover tonight, and we'll be right back.
Nice. One out of the way. That's awesome. Hey, I've got you potted up on the monitor here, so if you need to say anything, we'll be here.
Okay. I have a show.
Nice, beautiful. It always comes together.
Only in here.
Sure.
Okay, so I need. Okay, he's calling. And I need to write out something.
Check 1 2, hey 1 2. Check 1 2. Testing 1 2, hey 1 2. Check 1 2. Hey 1 2. Check 1 2. Testing 1 2. Hey 1 2. Check.
Sorry, comma, didn't hear back from you, and so had to book someone else.
Check 1 2.
Period. We'll bring you on soon.
Test 1 2. Check hey 1 2. Testing 1 2. Check 1 2. Hey 1 2. Test 1 2.
How are we doing? We're 1 minute. Okay. Tell me when I got 10 seconds, please. Journalistic ethics, PDF. We have, which is on. We have our guest. Do you know if our guest is?
I don't. You can talk. Yeah.
Yolanda's on. Okay. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to us on AM 1460 and FM 101.1 The Answer. And we're doing a live remote from the Pinery at the Hill on Bijou, downtown Colorado Springs. Amazing place. I love being here. You feel royal just walking in. It's a beautiful day today too, but it's up on the hill. You got the city downtown over to one side. You got Cheyenne Mountain. Walk out in the parking lot. Pikes Peak's right there. It's an amazing place and beautiful inside. And we're doing a peak event here that's too late. Sorry if you don't have tickets. Too late. You should have signed up for it. We promoted so much. We wish that you would be here, but get ready for the other peak events that we'll be doing. Should be monthly throughout the year, because it's time for us to not just be on the radio together, because we're really not together, but to get together for real. But we're having a Passover event here tonight, and we're setting up and doing that, but I have a radio show I have to do. So this is our headline segment, and our headline of the day is the fact that there is a rally going on up at the Capitol, specifically bringing up pastors and others who are very, very concerned about this House Bill 251312 that seems like it's getting pushed through. It's called Concerning Legal Protections for Transgender Individuals, and we've done a couple of shows about it, but it involves parental rights. It involves that your children can get taken away from you if you misgender them, that could be seen as coercive and enough to have your children taken away. Also other things regarding transitioning children, also dress codes in schools, and it doesn't seem very balanced. And a lot of people people get upset. They think that this is really government overreach. Personally, I agree. And so we have Yolanda Edwards, who's one of our citizen journalists, and she is up at the Capitol. So Yolanda, are you there? Yolanda? Hey, Yolanda. Hey, so we're both not in the studio today, and we thank James back on the board for pulling all this together. Please tell us, what is the rally? What's it about? What's going on? Okay, sure. You want to do him first? Okay, Jarvis, House District Rep Jarvis Caldwell. Okay, so thank you for coming out to the rally. So tell us about this rally, Jarvis. I know that you were instrumental in organizing it, helping to organize. So as a House District Rep, as a Republican, what's your district? 20. Okay, so as someone who's up there representing the Republican side, conservative side, but of course all your constituents, what are you seeing there for this bill and others regarding allowing you to represent and just, allowing things to be heard rather than being pushed through? What's been your experience on this bill? Okay, Jarvis Caldwell, House District 20. I know you need to go back in and vote. Thank you for being up there. I know being in the minority is difficult, so thank you for your service. Okay, thank you. So Yolanda. Hi, so what are you seeing there? Are there hundreds? What's your guesstimate on the numbers there today? Uh, so what are the rallies already begun? People are speaking? So, there's a lot of different things in this bill. It's pretty diverse, the things that it's doing. What are you mostly hearing the speakers talking about? Now, it was called as a pastors event, trying to get the pastors out. Do you have any guess, or have you seen, the amount of people that are up there that are pastors as opposed to the rest of the citizens? Okay, and what overall, I guess, is there any counter protest going on? So if people want to educate themselves, of course, they can go online, put in House Bill 1312 Colorado and read it. And I recommend people read it. But just to bring people up to speed real quick, we got about a minute or so left. How should people approach this, in your opinion, just so they can get educated and decide what their personal position is on it? Because it's pretty much thought that it will get passed by the House. So, okay, that's right. Okay, and so they figure it's going to get passed there. So it's really only going to be Polis getting pressure at this point. Is that what's felt? If people want to not have this pass. Okay. Yolanda Edwards up at the rally up at the Golden Dome regarding House Bill 251312 concerning legal protections for transgender individuals. Thanks for being on the scene. Look forward to getting a report from you next week with more details and some interviews. You're listening to The Peak. We'll be right back. Okay, that was okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
No. Yeah. Did you hear that? He said no.
That's okay. I should have communicated with you earlier. Period. It just got too close to the show and I needed content.
I think it sounded good.
Yeah, I mean, people don't know what we're trying to do.
Yeah, he can hear you.
No, we're gonna do. I'm interviewing someone here at the Pinery.
Hey, James, are you getting any glitching noises or anything?
And what's the best way to try to get a guest?
Or whoever can.
No, as far as like the video here. Let's see. Let's see. So this is just a 5-minute segment. When you hear music at the end, we're done.
Okay.
So I'll just talk about the Pinery and.
Let me know if you need more or less headphones.
Okay.
They can be a little loud, so.
So just talking about the Pinery. Who you are?
Oh gosh.
Do you know any history of the Pinery? You talk
I know
about
a
that?
little bit.
Okay, so just that, you can mention Mitch and, tell us why this is a great facility. This is a commercial.
Oh gosh. Okay.
It'll be fine. I'm here. I do this every day.
Okay. I believe you.
Can you give me a quick mic check on that? Just a quick check.
Do you want me to talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. You're good. Just make sure it was working.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, back in, we're back in about 40 seconds. Okay, so Pinery. Benson. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Goldman, the Watchman, and no, we're not lying to you here. There's way too much competition in the media for lying. We just figure we should bring you good information and have you make up your own mind what you think you should do with it. And doing that on the hyper-local level here at the Peak means that we get out into the community, and we are doing an event tonight, Passover Seder. If you don't know what that is, it's something, well, you probably heard of the Passover on the Jewish calendar, the Exodus from Egypt 3,500 years ago of the nation of Israel, and we commemorate that as Jewish people every single year and retell it for our children. And we've done it the past few years at the Road Church, but this year we are doing it at the amazing Pinery at the Hill on Bijou, downtown in Colorado Springs, and that's coming up this evening. Tickets are done. We're not inviting you down, but we're doing the live remote from here. And so in this segment, we have Michelle Benson, who is the banquet manager. General manager, and but you also handle all that. I mean, the reason I thought that is I'm talking to Michelle like 5 times a day, trying to put this together because I do complicated events. So Michelle is the general manager down here. And so Michelle, fill us in some on the Pinery. How long has it been here? What do you do down here? It's always a fun time. You're always having a good time.
Always. So a little bit of history. So the Pinery at the Hill has been open since October of 2013. So we just celebrated 11 years. Our owner, Mitch Yellen, purchased the property in 2008, and then there was construction and all that kind of stuff. So we opened in October of 2013. We're private event venues. We do pretty much anything: weddings, anniversaries, birthday parties, Passover Seders, celebration of life, just kind of a little bit of everything. And my role here as general manager in sales is I help book all the parties, and then do execute some as well.
What do you mean by execute? That sounds pretty.
So that's where I work with you. Get all the details.
Okay, make
and
sure it gets
make
done.
sure it happens.
Now, the
Yeah.
Pinery is part of the Altitude Hospitality Group, which includes Vine and Wheel and Dad's Donuts, who are advertisers on the Peak, and we love working with them. We've done other events down here and plan to in the future because it's just a royal place. If you've never been down here, come and check it out. And they're always doing something exciting. But tell us what what does it take to put on events for hundreds and weddings and dealing with people like me that are just just going crazy trying to organize, or especially working with brides and stuff like that. How do you do that so well?
Oh gosh. Well, one, I think it's like just customer service in general. Having a heart for people, just caring about them. But really, a lot of what we do is we take someone's idea and we bring it to life. So a lot of our clients, brides, they are like, hey, I want X, Y, and Z, and then we do our best to make that happen.
Yeah, and they really do. Now, what's the difference? Is this specifically an event center?
Yes.
Is that what is that? How is that different from other types of places where people do weddings?
Yeah, so because we're just an event venue, so therefore we don't have a restaurant or anything like that. So we're not open as far as come in, make a reservation, that sort of thing. It's based on events. So a client would book an event and then it's their guests that attend.
But you do everything.
We do everything. So food, AV, floral,
and bar. They have a nice bar down here.
Yeah.
Now, when people book the Pinery, what's the number one? I mean, is it the view? Is it what are the things when you're closing people and they're choosing the Pinery over another venue because there are other venues, people look at other places.
Yeah.
Well, what are the things that really people get sold on here?
First and foremost, view, and then all-inclusiveness. So unlike a resort hotel, there's nothing else going on at the same time, so it's their space for their event and they don't have to worry about general public walking through. So a lot of it is exclusivity, all-inclusiveness, view, and food.
Okay, and how many can you hold? With people
200.
200, and then there's also the chapel side.
Yeah, so our for weddings, our max capacity is 200, just knowing that chapel and then reception space. For corporate events, 200 to 225. I do have 3 separate spaces, so our other 2 are about 75-ish.
And so are people usually dancing in there, food out here dancing there?
No, nope. We do the reception completely out here.
Completely out here. Okay,
Yeah.
Michelle Benson, General Manager of the Pinery. Thanks for being on the Peak.
Yeah, thank you.
And now get back to work because we got an
Sounds
event.
good.
We got an event tonight. I'm Goldman, the Watchman. We're coming remotely from the Pinery. Thepinery.org is the website. We'll be right back.
It's .com.
Oh, what did I say? .org?
But it's okay. It's okay.
No, it's not.
They'll
Okay.
find us.
No. I will correct that when I come back. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oops, it might be interfering with this frequency. So I'm going to swap mics
Okay.
out.
How choppy was it?
Not at all.
I didn't know if it was this, like I was
Oh, no.
hearing it. Okay.
No, it wasn't too bad. Hey. Oh. Hey, can you hear us? Hello. Hey, can you hear us? Okay.
Where's my notes?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. I made notes for this segment on the back of a piece of paper. Here. Check. Okay.
Yeah, if that continues, I'll just move over to this hard mic. Back on, right?
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman, and you're listening to us on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer. And if you really want to watch us on video, we are streaming on Facebook and on YouTube at the Peak News Media and the Peak News, respectively. But you're just watching a webcam shot. But we want to let you know that we do live stream if you prefer to do things that way. So we are handling, a lot of different news that just doesn't get talked about. We say the quiet stuff out loud has become our motto. And so we're a reaction to the fact that the media all over the country, around the world, but all over the country and here locally, are not covering news, not doing journalism the way I think fully it's supposed to be done. We've gotten into a place where, well, special interests have taken ownership of it, and no matter where you are in the political spectrum, I think that you've realized that you're not getting the truth, that the journalists, or I don't even want to call them journalists, the people who are paid to get on the mic or get in front of the camera, have interest that is not serving the public first. And so that gets into the realm of ethics and journalistic ethics. And whenever I use that phrase, people go, is that a thing? Is that a thing? And it's like, yeah, of course it's supposed, and we all know it's supposed to be a thing, but we're so far from it. I mean, it's been 60, 70, 80 years, since really businesses have taken this over to such an extent. The government has had great influence over the media. We're finding things out even in the 50s and 60s that this was going on. It may have seemed patriotic, but it becomes government propaganda. And then in our age, yes, the government is there, but so much corporations have gotten in. If you don't know this already, there's only about 5 very large companies that own all, or a large portion of all of the major media companies. So how can they remain independent? How can they really represent the people? Well, we have to demand it, and we can demand it by, one, being more informed, not checking out, because it's not like you're going to say, well, you know what, I'm just going to go through the rest of my life and I don't need good information from a reliable source to base my life on. That's untenable. We can't do that. So we need to figure out how to fix this. So one is being an educated consumer, and that also means not putting yourself in a bubble. It's so easy to get in there and just listen to people who agree with you. And if you're listening, here on talk radio, conservative talk radio, we seek to be more to the middle. At Salem, it's very specifically conservative talk radio. You can get in a bubble, and which means that you're not hearing anything that challenges you, just things that give you confirmation bias. And you don't want that, because you're not going to have the information you need. It's good to get challenged. It's good to have our ideas, our thoughts, our positions challenged. And so media should be bringing us information in proper context. So there is a Society for Professional Journalists, and they publish an ethics in journalism declaration. And it's pretty extensive, and you can go online, spj.org. And by the way, I'm remembering, just a slight aside, when I said that the website for the Pinery, which we're down at, doing a live remote from the Pinery here down in Colorado Springs, because we have an event here tonight, that it is the pinery.com, not .org, pinery.com. So spj.org is the Society for Professional Journalists, and they have published a pretty extensive code of ethics, which all journalists should really read and follow. And the major categories, there's lots of details within each one, is seek truth and report it, minimize harm, act independently, and be accountable and transparent. Let me repeat that, because this is really what we should demand from our news sources. Seek truth and report it, minimize harm, meaning sometimes you don't tell a story because it doesn't really serve the public, but it will destroy a person's life. act independently, meaning don't have special interests controlling what you report on, but report the news, and be accountable and transparent, meaning you don't become such a celebrity that you think you can get away with anything. And so this is what we're seeking to do at the Peak News as we raise up citizen journalists and interns. We're taking them through ethics program in order to make sure that they have this. But we're here reporting on this bill, House Bill 1312, regarding transgender rights and protections. And we're also seeing, like with the Second Amendment bill that was passed in our state, that the governor signed, that makes it, I mean, basically, I don't know how you can look at that and not say, do not, shall not be infringed. That we see our government, especially in Colorado, wants to, I think, beat out California as the most progressive, liberal, Marxist state ever. And it's gotten to the point, in my opinion, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, but I am a small government conservative. I consider myself a leave me alone libertarian. That's what I call me. Just let me live my life, and government should be there to serve me and be there minimally. That we're seeing a government with such encroachment to the point of not being able to do commerce. Like with this new gun bill, you can't go into another, okay, you want to outlaw those guns in Colorado, I can't go into a neighboring state and buy it and bring it back. That is restraint of trade, and that's not supposed to happen between the states. And but the thing that's gotten the people up at the rally, and if you've been listening to us from the beginning, there's a big rally going on up in Denver today with pastors and others who are against this bill, is that it's gotten to the point where we're seeing the government, or specifically our legislature, our House and our Senate, not seem to care about the people. From what I've heard from multiple sources, is that about 1,000 people testified against the Second Amendment bill, and like just a handful, like 4 or 5 or 10, came up for it, and they still passed it, and the government still signed it, and they say that we're representing we the people. And so what do you do as a journalist when you have a strong opinion about something? And it's hard to not in this case if you read this bill. I get the people who think it's necessary, obviously, are very passionate about it. But what do you do when you want to be a journalist and be ethical and not bring opinion or try to convince you of anything, and yet you see something going on in society that is absolutely egregious? I mean, we've seen where Republicans up in the House tried to pass laws that if you sex traffic like a child, like a 4-year-old, that you should absolutely go to jail because these people get out. And along party lines, it got voted down. I mean, how do you as a human being say that pedophiles shouldn't go to jail when they're buying 4 and 5-year-old children and raping them? Like, do you just try to pick a neutral position on that and go, well, I can see both sides of the argument? I can't, as a thinking, caring human being. See, I don't understand. And yet, as a journalist, as a storyteller, I'm supposed to. But if we play that neutral position all the time, then I think we're sort of worthless, because you're counting on us to be more informed than you. Not on every issue. There should be issues that you know a lot more, but generally that we as journalists know a lot of things. We can get to a lot of people. We can get a lot of research, and we can put things in context and say, you know what, this isn't an equal argument, and that we can give our opinion, because that's the question. Can news people give their opinion? Yes, but I think that it needs to be what I call transparent bias, that I'm giving you my opinion. That not because I come from a position that's intractable, after looking at this, and with my value system, which you should understand, this is how we deal with all other human beings, why not the people in media, we're just human beings too, is to not say, I've decided what the truth is and this is what you should believe. But after looking at all these things, I think that the logic, the morals, the ethics fall on this side or that side. But again, as we should be able to decide in America. But when it comes to government, we have given our votes to representatives, and those representatives are supposed to represent us. It's not supposed to be their opinion, and they're supposed to listen to we the people, because we are the government. And I really think, so rather than getting into this bill specifically, it's just what I've been watching throughout this legislative session, is that those in the minority get shut down. There's all kinds of things that they pull procedurally where they can't talk, they can't represent their constituency. And even when they do, or the people do, it doesn't seem like they're listening. And so, what do we do with that? Well, our founding fathers said that when we get to a point where these transgressions of the government are just too egregious, that we overthrow that government, hopefully at the ballot box. But it's getting to the point where, I don't know what's going on in the ballot box, and certainly in the courts, it's hard to litigate anything now because it seems like there's lawfare going on. And I don't want to see revolution, like armed revolution, but that is something that's in the books, and there should be that threat on our legislators that the people will rise up. And at this point, it doesn't seem like they care, like they give a damn. And if you look at it, and that, okay, if you're getting the votes that you like, and I'm saying this to people on both sides, when you're in the majority, it's easy to sit back and go, well, I know it shouldn't be that way, but I like the results. No, because at some point it's going to turn. At some point, like that famous quote during, from the Holocaust. At first they came for this group and I didn't say anything. And then eventually they came for the Jews, I didn't say anything. And then they came for me and there was no one left to speak up. If we're going to have a constitutional republic, it needs to function 24/7. Because at some point, you may not like what's going on now that Trump won, right? Like people that like what Biden was doing, now they don't like Trump. Well, you don't want this kind of bullying going on. You want the Constitution, you want those things. You want the Supreme Court, not just, rubber stamping stuff. You want the government to function. And so I think that we as the media, that's the position that we really need to be in, is to say, we want the government to function, and when it's not, regardless of the issue, we need to call it out. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. We're at the Pinery downtown. We're having a peak event tonight, a Passover, and when we come back, we're going to have a few of the people who are involved with the event, and then, of course, Jim Miller, just a guy in the Peak Rants. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman, coming to you remote from the Pinery at the Hill, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, something was affecting that first channel. I don't know what it was. But
Okay.
yeah. Seems like the second channel's good.
Do you need stands for these two reserved tables?
If you have them, that'd be great. I just wanted to mark them before we, because I think I'm going to put security guys here. That's going to be like when we start to see this or not.
Hey, sorry, James. That was something was affecting me. The wireless mics. So I had to swap some stuff out.
I think putting.
It's the phone using the wireless mics. No, it's just local frequencies that were interfering.
I brought them all in and put them
they're
here.
right there.
Like 6. Are they over there?
You got one mic for you.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
We got 2 mics.
Then these are the Seder plates.
Okay.
And I got, we'll snap a little piece off here, a little lettuce. Well, there are a few.
Okay.
You guys could be here for sound check. I didn't know. I don't know.
Thank you. Exactly. Let me grab.
Hey guys.
Basically that. We have about 4 minutes, I think. Oh, do I need a length on the gym to know when I need to throw.
Oh, okay.
Because I won't get music. Grab a chair. You guys share this mic.
You can try the wireless one. If it cuts out, we'll go for.
Okay. And do we say worship mob or right here too?
These two.
And sorry, Mulholland?
Mulholland.
Mulholland. Sean.
Holland, yeah.
Holland.
Mulholland.
Holland. 2 L's?
Two L's there, yeah.
Okay. And it's Worship Mob, but it was that other name you were switching it to?
Jesus Co. But yeah, you can just say Worship Mob. That's
Okay.
fine. That's what
Okay.
I've gone back to anyway.
Oh, you are? You dropped
Jesus
that?
Co. will be
It
the,
wasn't-
no, it's not dropped. It'll just be like the over the umbrella.
Okay, Zach, we only have one headphone, so you won't be able to hear that, but you can just talk when the time comes.
One mic too.
One, you're going to share one mic, yeah.
And I had to do this sideways because it's really loose. So
Yeah,
it sits
it is.
sideways, yeah. It'll work fine. It just needs to sit sideways.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer. And if you hear things louder in the background than normal, that's because we're down at the Pinery at the Hill, this amazing event center. And we're having another Peak event as we love to get out into the community. Tonight we are having a Passover Seder. Tickets are not, don't come down if you don't have tickets because we closed that last week. But we are, as we're preparing, we're down here because 5 o'clock the doors open and that's when we're a go. And so I just pulled out of sound check 2 of the people who are doing worship here tonight. We've put a lot of worship, a lot of songs, merriment into the Passover Seder tonight because it is a celebration. And I have Zach Goldman, who is, he's my son, and he interns for me at the Peak. And so, of course, we're involved in this event. He's all over that. And also Sean Mulholland and Holland. And if you recognize that name, you'll recognize Worship Bob. And he's helping us with the worship tonight. So, gentlemen, thanks so much for being here on the Peak.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so Sean, let me start with you because I know that you've gotten into the feast and things like that. So as a non-Jewish person, but a Christian who worships, what does the Passover mean to you?
Yeah. So my wife is really into doing the Seder, or the order as it's called, and we just did our own with our family of about 12 of us on Saturday afternoon.
Do we have a time?
And went through the whole thing, and it means a lot because Jesus fulfilled everything and was the blood that was shed to end those sacrifices and to fulfill every righteousness that God required. So it means a lot. It's a beautiful parallel to the Old Testament, and I love what Jesus did for us.
And yet we still have a commandment as the people of God to remember this every year. And so we remember the original Exodus, and we remember 2,000 years ago, Holy Week, and also what it means to us today. Zach, who is my one son who's really gotten into music and is leading tonight, what have you been preparing for this evening for those in attendance?
You want to hear songs?
No, we don't have time for that.
We have
but I mean, overall, the experience.
the experience. So I mean, tonight is an experience in a lots of different ways. I mean, you're coming in and there's food and there's teaching, but also there's worship. But it's not just regular old. I mean, it's not just any worship songs. I prayed about it and asked a lot of different people about what songs to do, and these are songs that tie into the story of Passover, deliverance from Egypt, a lot about Yeshua, Jesus, being king, his death and resurrection, and also just looking into the future. We end with one day.
Which is how we end every Peak episode too. So thanks for that.
Yeah, right. That song exactly. We added that. So really crafted to make this experience really memorable for everyone.
And it really is about the story. If you think about this, there's a commandment for the Jewish people, for Israel, to tell this story of our Exodus or our deliverance every single year and tell it to our children, so our children will ask. And how effective is this? 3,500 years later, we're still doing it, and people who are not Jewish are doing it. It's becoming very, very popular among that. So we have about a minute left, Sean. What do you make about this? That that Passover more and more in the home has become something that Christians, not just Jewish people, are doing.
Yes, well, it's a good way. What we found is our children actually really align.
I told him to text me when he wants you to throw it over.
Well, but I need to.
He said, tell him in 20 seconds early.
As the Passover lamb. So yeah, it's been very wonderful for our family. I'd say that that's been one of the most looked forward to things that our family does each year in April is this wonderful Seder meal. And we did it at the beginning of Passover this past Sunday.
So, this isn't actually Passover tonight, but people are generally at home doing it. We decided to do it during the week. So, gentlemen, I know you're still doing sound checks coming up just shortly, and you need to get to that. But thanks so much for being here tonight to help in the celebration.
Great to be here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So we're down at the Pinery at the Hill. We have another peak event tonight. Again, tickets are done. Don't come down tonight. We'd love to have you, but that's the way it went. But we are going to be having a lot more peak events coming up, and so stay tuned for that. Now, Jim Miller, just a guy, as always. He's not down here, but he's back in the studio somewhere, and the peak grants. Okay. They've been okay in the segment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sound good, yeah.
Okay, now I just need to do a close, and I need to find out.
Sunday, up to 8 p.m. Downtown. Well, last time I checked, I live here. We all paid for those roads. We paid for the damn parking meters too, okay? And you know what? If I get out, I'm picking up people or whatever I gotta do, 7:38 on a Sunday, and I'm trying to be a good friend and just help out people so they don't get in trouble because they're drinking or whatever they're doing. I don't drink and I'm boring and work too much. I shouldn't be getting a parking ticket. I also want to pay for parking. I don't want to deal with anything. I don't want to deal with 3 meth heads, the 4 homeless dudes, or the ones that overlap with thieves and all this stuff. Hey man, I'm a cigarette, I need some money, I need this and that. I'm like, that's cool. I've been working all day and I don't buy cigarettes and I don't smoke. I quit not because it was healthy for me, but because it was too damn expensive. 10, 12 bucks for a pack of smokes. Things covered full of sausage and made me irritated.
Okay. Things for my children.
I don't
Okay.
have time
Should
to
be
drink.
here
I
by
don't have
now.
time to do
Okay.
almost anything. I take care of
But,
a lot of family members in my family because
If we can just make sure, you brought down that recording device? Is to hopefully see that we can just get it working with the tech guy. The tech guy at 4, we do sound check at 6. So at any point, walk over there and just make sure we get it working.
And I think, there it is right there. Yeah, it should be easy. I'm just gonna run one of these extension cords to that.
Oh, so you just boom.
Yeah, it'll be on his auxiliary recorder out, yeah.
Matter of fact, we have the technology, right? We have that million dollar man theme song. We have the technology, we can do it now. Right? I'll scan my ID and pay this Colorado Springs address money. I don't want to pay for parking.
What's your
anymore.
ETA,
I'm
please?
tired of it. It's ridiculous. If you don't have a Colorado Springs address and you scan your ID, you're paying for parking. You're a guest. You're throwing your garbage out and throwing all our stuff anyways. I'm just irritated and mad about it. That's all.
Thanks, Kama. That was really good on the fly. Okay, please come in ready to start right quick. Okay, hey, call me when there's a minute left. I'm
Okay.
gonna start setting stuff.
Sure. Let me know when there's about a minute out. He's helping somebody. Did you say something? Sorry. Yep, will do. Yep. Okay. About a minute, hon. About a minute. Tell him 1 minute. 1 minute. Yep. This is what he said. He just, okay, fine. He doesn't seem to think that's it, so. Yeah, that's what I just told him, so. Yes.
It was 3 minutes after
Oh.
Jim. I just heard
He said
Jim.
it's less than a minute now. I just talked to him.
Okay.
Cool. And we're not getting a station either, FYI. Hey James, we're not getting the station feed, FYI. There you go. Thank you. All good.
Why is this? Thanks for listening to us at the Peak. It's crazy down here, and no, that commercial was not supposed to run because it closed on April 10th. As we said, we're going to, in just an hour from now, be welcoming people in at the wonderful Pinery at the Hill on Bijou downtown. Don't come tonight because unfortunately, if you didn't sign up, if you have tickets, come on down. We're waiting for you. Really awesome event, Passover Seder, part of Peak events, and something my whole family enjoys doing every year. Next week here on the Peak, we have on Tuesday Andrew Sandstrom, who is an environmental policy expert. We're going to be talking about, we talk about other things in the government, but so much of what goes on in the state is environmental and business related, and Andrew's going to be commenting on that. On Monday, as happens sometimes, we're not exactly sure who the guest is, but we still have time, and I'm sure we're going to have an awesome guest. So tune back in here on AM 1460 and FM 101.1 at 3. Well, you know what? You should just lock in the dial on that all the time. Just rip the dial, just set it to 1460, rip the dial off, and just stay there all the time. But in case you don't, tune in 3 to 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday here to listen to the Peak News as we say the quiet stuff out loud. I wanted to get in the last segment, but we ran out of time. So that as we're raising up our citizen journalists, we want more of you. We really think that so much of this is because of relatively few people report the news. But if we can broad base this, then that's part of what makes it honest, and the local part does too. So go on thepeak.news, that's our website. Find out about being a citizen journalist, a tech, an intern, maybe even being a sponsor. Join in with what we're doing here with hyper local news. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. Happy Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread to you, and thanks to the Pinery for hosting this. Go to thepinery.com for more information. We will see you on Monday. We'll be saying the quiet stuff out loud once again for such a time as this. Colorado Springs, El Paso County, Pikes Peak region. Shalom. Have a great weekend.